Hey guys, this is David from Halloween Horror World. I'm revisiting a top 5 list of my favorite Halloween Horror Night mazes with a bit of a revision to it, so I hope you guys enjoy. At number 5, we have the Asylum back in 2006. Now, this was one of the original mazes that the event has done, one of the few original mazes to come through Halloween Horror Nights history. This was back when the event first came back. The facade itself was fantastic. It really was ominous. Going back when I was really afraid of these kind of events, it just amplified the fear factor. One of the things that works well for the Asylum is the unpredictable scares. With a lot of things like Friday the 13th, you expect Jason. With Nightmare on Elm Street, you expect Freddy. But with an Asylum, anything goes and anything can happen. So the scares really came, and when they came, they were very good. They got you very well in tight corners of the maze's layout, which is one of the reasons why I enjoyed the maze so much. Is the maze layout was a bit all over the place and it was very confusing. It felt like an actual maze, and that's why the Asylum is number 5. Number 4 is Halloween Hell Comes to Haddonfield back in 2016. This was the sequel to the previous year's Halloween maze, and it was based on Halloween 2, which is one of my favorite horror sequels. With its alternate ending, this maze was a real standout for the year. You expected it with, like the Orlando's one, with Michael exploding in the fire, but no, instead you went into this kind of strange, surreal world of pumpkins and Celtic mythology, which was very interesting kind of take on the finale for the maze. The set design alone was fantastic. Going through the pumpkin at the end was great, but above all else, the hospital sequences were fantastic, very well created by John and Chris and the rest of the team to bring you into that feeling. This is one of the few mazes that has a real immersion to it. You felt like you were in the film. At number 3, we have La Llorona. That is from 2011 to 2012. Not only was this one of the few original concept mazes that worked really well, but for those who hadn't grown up with La Llorona as a legend like some kids did, you didn't know what to expect, which again, this goes back to what the Asylum worked really well, is you don't know what to expect going through this maze, and the scares really worked. The set design of this Mexican village was fantastic. It immersed you in this environment and it didn't let up on the scares, and this is one of the few mazes that have got me quite a few times. At number 2, we have Insidious Into and Towards Beyond the Further. This is from 2013 to 2017. Now, we don't get a lot of ghost mazes coming to Halloween Horror Nights. A lot of it tends to be man-made serial killers or monsters, but with this we have the return of the ghost format, which worked really well. Very creepy vibes, more tension as you're going through each of the set from all 4 films, and it just worked really well. One of the great little design things that the team did was, as you're walking down a hallway, the hallway dissolves into the candelabra hallway into the further, which worked, and the transition of the red doors as you go through each stage of the films worked really well to really bring you into this world. With an honorable mention, we have Krampus at 2016. Now, this was a difficult one to place. Krampus was definitely one of my favorite mazes of 2016. Halloween taking the top spot, but Krampus definitely was there. Not an especially scary maze. However, it worked to be very enjoyable, a lot of fun to go through, and the costumes were fantastic, especially the Krampus actors and the Dark Elves. This worked really well. Also with Cold, which will come into play with number 1, but the Cold really worked to immerse you into this world. At number 1, we have The Thing Assimilation, which was 2011's maze. This is by far my top maze, and for these reasons specifically. It's not often you get a creature type maze at the event, but this worked really well. The creative team working with ADI to provide the actual suits used on the film or from the molds of the film to bring these creatures to life in this maze environment. Also, the sets were fantastic because it felt like you were there, you were in this isolated Norwegian camp, and the cold really that was blown through the maze itself worked to immerse you even further, to feel that you were cut off on this end of the world kind of area that is Antarctica. erotica. The scares worked really well, got me multiple times during the maze, and especially the mantis thing that was the original form, it definitely worked to really amp the scares, and I know it got quite a few people. So yeah, those are my top 5 favorite Halloween Horror Nights mazes. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.